So my journey began back in 2008 when I joined Specsavers. I guess I was one of the early adopters, and I could just see that this was the right bus to be on. I liked the idea of the joint venture partnership model. To me, that was an attractive proposition, having both a retail and an optometry business owner coming together and building a team together, and which was one of the parts I really enjoyed. So my journey began in Castle Hill in New South Wales. A lot of people thought I was crazy, but whereas most stores were opening with one consulting room, I took the bold move to open with a fairly large premises store with 2 clinical test rooms to begin with. And it wasn't very long before we realised that this was growing at a rate of knots. So essentially, we filled our 2 rooms within a year, 18 months. It got to a point where we needed to start investing in equipment for the 3rd and 4th test rooms. So the store began from zero, literally from no patients. We beautifully located 2 doors from one of the largest competitors in Australia at the time, and comfortable to say that after 7 years of being in that store, we took that store to number 1 as retail and optometry business owners, because we work together as partners, not necessarily as separate individuals. We built a great team. We had a lot of support in the background, and that store went from zero to about $7 million in turnover. The beauty of Specsavers as well, in my opinion, is it's a model that actually can also accommodate business transfer. So having moved house, I took on a store in Burwood, closer to the city store of Sydney. It was an interesting one in that it was overflowing and needed to relocate or expand. So I was involved in that process with Specsavers, full support from the business development team and marketing and strategy teams to actually find another location and create a store that was much bigger. So again, that took probably a 6 to 12 month period, much faster than what you would expect for any business. But essentially, this business model worked so well that we took that store to 4 test rooms, and a store that was doing maybe $35,000 a week in turnover to an average of $80,000 within 2 years. That ran to probably 3 years ago, where I moved to Melbourne. So another move. And fortunately, I was able to business transfer from one store to another, where I took on my current store, which is Werribee in the western suburbs of Victoria. Werribee was another interesting one. Was one of the biggest stores at the time in Australia, on around 140 square metre premises. We had 4 clinics running. The store was doing well, but still needed to expand. With an expanding population, it just needed to grow. So we took the bold move of making it the largest premises in Australia, 300 square metres, 8 test room clinics, which we've managed to fill within the last year or so, or 18 months of moving. That store was averaging $80,000 a week back in March 2019. Comfortable to say it's now averaging $140,000 a week. Some 700 patients per week go through eye tests in our store, and we probably turn over about 7 million plus in turnover and growing. We still feel we almost need to expand again. With the addition of that, we also added audiology with a dedicated audiologist 5 days a week. And that has created a wider scope for our store and servicing the community as well.